Opening up the mailbag to see who takes the biggest leap this year for the Celtics, signing an Antetokounmpo, not that one, and a new version of the Killer Whales. What will we call these guys right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast?
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. We kept the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Yeah, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics. I cover them for Boston Sports Journal. I've been doing a version of this job for about 20 years. My name is John Karalis. I host this show every Monday through Friday. It's free. It's available everywhere. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section and share your thoughts. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can bet $5, just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the app today. It's a Mailbag Monday. Mailbag questions can be submitted to johnkaralis.com/mailbag, johnkaralis.com/mailbag. As long as the off season continues, which is like a couple more weeks, mailbags are on Monday. I want to answer all of your questions or as many as possible. So johnkaralis.com/mailbag. Later on, we can't call these guys the Killer Whales anymore. We got to come up with a new version. I'll try. We'll talk about signing an Antetokounmpo, not the one that everyone wants to sign. Am I a Queta hater? And let's just start with this. Since we're doing this, I probably should have structured this a little bit differently, but Mike starts us off with, out of all the Celtics players, who do you think will make the biggest leap this year? And who would you like that to be? And why? So when you talk about leaps, we have to start with, how do you make a leap? You have to start at a place and have enough room to make a big jump. Who makes the biggest jump from where they are to where they're going? Which I think eliminates, I can't say Jaylen Brown. I don't think he makes the biggest leap because he's already pretty damn good and he's 28. So he's I think past the big, huge leap portion of his career. I think the same can be said for Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. They can get better. They can make jumps. You want to call it a leap? Fine. But when we talk about biggest leap, you have to have room to jump, right? If you're jumping and you have 9-foot ceilings, you can jump only a certain height to touch the ceiling, right? But if there's 12 feet ceilings, you want to touch the ceiling, there's a lot more room. That's a massive leap to get up to the 12-foot ceilings. So who could that be? Who are the candidates here? You have the returning guys. Sam Hauser, I think, is a candidate. Neemias Queta is a candidate. Jordan Walsh would certainly be a candidate. Xavier Tillman could be, I think, maybe. But Luka Garza, Josh Minot, the guys that were recently signed, I think those are the leap candidates. So now who gets the most opportunity? So I think when you look at opportunity, biggest leap opportunities will be guys playing a lot of minutes. Sam Hauser qualifies. I don't know that Sam is going to get like that much more time. He may start. He may come off the bench. Either way, he's probably going to play like 30 minutes. So he has an opportunity, but I think a guy like it may be Neemias Queta. I think that's the guy I'm going to settle on as Neemias Queta as the biggest leap. And I say that because he went from a guy that lots of DNPs, did not really play in the playoffs, hasn't really played much in the playoffs over the past couple seasons. I don't think, like, Joe Mazzulla likes Queta. I think how much does he trust Queta right now? He's going to have to, more so than he has in the past. He doesn't have many better options. So Queta, there's a strong possibility that Queta can start. And so you go from a lot of DMPs and sporadic play to starter. And I think that qualifies you for the biggest leap. I think that's where I'm going to ultimately settle here, because I feel like he's going to get the run with Jaylen and Peyton and, Sam. I don't know that Sam's going to run a lot of pick and roll. Anthony Simons will have opportunity there. In fact, I think tomorrow I'm going to do just an Anthony Simons centric show, just because we're finally, I think we can finally just say he's not getting traded before the season starts. Media days in a couple of weeks. So, but I think Queta will have the most opportunity with the biggest kind of runway to make a jump. So I think he's the obvious candidate to make the biggest leap. And listen, let me fold in this question here from Hurdler17. Neemias Queta is the only Celtic playing in late summer with Eurobasket. You are a former big man that has played in Europe, yet you have no coverage of Eurobasket or Queta. Why are you a Queta hater? Okay. So I would say I have had some coverage of Eurobasket, although admittedly not a ton. I think that's because I don't see direct correlation, and I don't want to overreact to the EuroLeague stuff, because it's not the NBA. It's not NBA competition. And there are guys who can look great in EuroLeague and international competition and not so great in the NBA. Look at Dennis Schroeder. Germany won the Eurobasket tournament. Schroeder was the MVP. He's been good in the NBA. He hasn't been an all-star. He hasn't been great, but he's out there winning EuroLeague MVP. So international players, international competition, it's just different. So I didn't want to make, and I don't think there's a big appetite for Eurobasket stuff here in the United States. Queta played well. So I am not a hater. I am not a Queta hater. I am a person that looks at basketball, NBA basketball, and I'll be honest with you, I don't like the way Queta moves out there. I don't like the fact that his limbs kind of like flail around a little bit. I think he looks a little bit like those, the wacky inflatable used car dealer thing, the balloon man thing. That I think when you see him move, he doesn't have full control of his limbs sometimes. I don't know any other way to put it. He moves to the left and his arms are going this way and his arms are going that way. And he doesn't seem like in full control of his body. He's knock-kneed, right? You watch him when he's moving. His knees touch when he's moving side to side. That's not good. That takes away power. That's why he always had to dip so much to jump and try to dunk. That's why he doesn't dunk as much as a 7-footer should dunk. There are limitations, physical limitations that I just looking at him think that's not ideal. At the same time, he is a 7-footer. He's learning the game. He picked up the game late. He's learning it. He's going to get plenty of opportunity. Joe Mazzulla fully has his back. Joe was out there in Utah a few days ago with, there was an event there with Queta, and he was there. He's supporting him. He's always got Queta's back. So I think Queta will have plenty of support. He's having plenty of opportunity to develop and grow. The coaching staff is fully there. Like there's no greater support staff for Queta than this Boston Celtics team. So, and I would happily, if Queta averages 15 and 12 and 3 blocks, I'll be the first person to be like, hey, great job. Because I'm not rooting against the guy. My opinion, my evaluation has been what it's been. And frankly, when the talent is high, he's not getting the run. He's not getting the opportunity. Now, a lot of that talent has gone away. He's going to have to step up. I hope he does. And I think he is going to have an opportunity. And I think Eurobasket was incredibly, incredibly encouraging. So don't brand me as some hater. I'm not saying, look, you want to brand me as a hater, Trae Young, all that stuff. totally. I get it. There's some things that I dismiss because, whatever. I get it, right? We all have a thing, and I understand that. But that's not what's going on with Queta. I have no ill will towards Queta. I haven't talked to him a ton, but he seems like a nice guy. He works hard. I have no negative thing to say about him like I would, I don't know, Tristan Thompson, who I thought didn't take the regular season seriously, and I thought that attitude kind of permeated the locker room. That's me being a hater, right? That for good reason, I think. Queta, my evaluation of him has been less than what some other evaluations have been. People are fans of Queta, especially in Portugal. Great. I hope he does great. If Queta has a great season, this will be a surprising year for the Celtics. I think the Celtics are a 500 team. If Queta is good and he stays healthy, who knows? Maybe 45 wins. Maybe Queta being healthy can get them a few more wins. So yes, that makes him the biggest leap, but I will fight the notion that I am strictly hating on him. I am not. It's just, look, I'm going to be honest about my evaluations. That's it. I'm always going to be honest with everybody about my evaluations. And whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. If I think the Celtics are not good, I'm going to say they're not good. I'm not here to rah-rah cheerlead. When they were good, I said they were good, and I said it a lot, and people accused me of cheerleading, but they were good. They won a championship. They went to the finals. They were good. Now I'm saying the honest thing. They're not so good. And the honest thing is that I didn't think Queta was as good as some people said. Now he's going to have that opportunity. I hope he does well with it. When we come back, we'll talk about the Jaylen Brown leaving stuff, another topic that's been retroactive here. We'll do that. We'll get to the Antetokounmpo stuff when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL season is here. The Patriots won a ridiculously crazy up and down emotional roller coaster game. If you had bet $5 on that game, you might have been like, I win, I lose, I win, I lose. And who knows? It's crazy, but you can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get 300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I enjoyed watching that Patriots game and watching people lose their minds over it. If you had a few bucks on the game, I'm sure it would have enhanced that feeling a lot. It does make the game a lot more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add a little bit more energy to your Sundays. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Do that. Once you do that, you'll sign up. It'll ask you to set your limit, set your budget. Please do that. Please do that, because we all get, a little bit, carried away, start chasing the dragon a little bit. We don't want to do that. Okay. Just whatever you can afford to lose, do that. Have some fun with it. Bet $5. You can get 300 in bonus bets to use anywhere across the app. So download that at FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night. I'm on there on Fridays with Jake Madison. When the season starts, we'll be covering every game 7 days a week on Locked On NBA Game Night. The afternoon show's got all the big stories. We're just talking NBA in both shows, so go check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Let's get back to the Mailbag Monday, which is johnkaralis.com/mailbag. johnkaralis.com/mailbag. Pistol says, looking at the roster with camp approaching, I'm still mystified why Brad and company traded down in the second round when they could have taken Ryan Kalkbrenner, who looks like he could have slid right into Luke's role to a degree, where I don't see Williams contributing, frankly, ever. Side note, please do more math on the fly. It's very entertaining. Math on the fly breaks my brain, especially a week ago. I was not feeling my best, and so my brain was a little foggy, and I don't need foggy brain when I'm doing math. I need my absolute sharpest self, and even then, math on the fly is always an adventure. So, yeah, I can understand why it's entertaining. I probably was absolutely horrible. It was, I'd like to say it was embarrassing, but I don't know. I'm used to it by now. As far as the, Kalkbrenner, and the Charlottes picked him up in the second round. He's the 34th overall pick. I don't know what he's going to be. But this is what happens. Everybody has their favorites, especially in that part of the draft. They think he's a steal. I'm just going to lean on this. Every team in the league passed on him at least once. And okay, so then he goes in the early second round. Fine. They gave him the second round exception contract. So it's 4 years, 10 million, a couple of that guaranteed. So it's a nice little deal for him. I don't know what he's going to be, but I can tell you this, he probably wasn't going to slide right into the Luke Cornett role right away. He's a rookie, and that's just, it took Luke a long time, and it would take him a long time. If he was ready to step into the Luke role right away, he would have gone at least in the middle of the first round, maybe earlier, because you very rarely in the second round find the guy that's going to step into a starter / 6th, 7th man lineup. That's I know you like the guy. Apparently you love this guy to a point where you think the Celtics blew it by not taking him. And I'll give you this. Maybe they did, but I'm not going to, before the season starts, before this guy ever plays a minute, sit there and be like, you blew it, Brad Stevens, because we don't know. A lot of these second round picks don't pan out. So unless he turns into, Nikola Jokic or something, and we'll see, I don't know, then we can't say much. And as far as Williams, like at this point in the second round, I don't why wouldn't Williams contribute ever? He has his pretty good passing ability. So I don't know. Let's just wait and see. But I'm not killing them over that pick. Kevin from LA says Jaylen Brown hasn't closed the door on possibly joining the Hawks in the future. We talked about that last week on the podcast. He says on Twitter, your speculations about the Celtics' future is almost true, but Brown will be forever loved in Boston. And listen, yes, that is true. I have talked a lot about Jaylen Brown and the potential for him leaving because I think it's one of the biggest storylines to watch this upcoming season. If you haven't heard me talk about it, it's very simple. Jaylen's going to get his crack at being the number one guy. I think if things go perfectly for him and he has an incredible season, plays 70 games and averages, 26, 6 and 6 or something, crazy like that, 27, 7, 7, where you throw all your sevens, like the lawyer with the commercials, whatever it is, if he has that kind of season, I think there is a possibility that he might say, look, I got to be a number one guy somewhere. I need to find out if I can be the number one guy on a team. And we know that Jaylen probably won't get that in Boston with Jayson coming back from the injury. Now, there also is a possibility that Jayson coming back from the injury, he won't be the same, and Jaylen, like, they'll switch places. I don't think that's how it's going to go. I think Jayson's going to be Jayson, but I'm just watching for Jaylen to have an incredible year as the number one guy, and I want to see how he reacts to that. He may not. He may say, "Hey, I'm comfortable with that. I know what I can do. I'm comfortable with that. I want to stick around in Boston. I'm happy being this. I'm happy being here in this role, and I want to retire in Boston." And that would be great too. Like I don't know how it's going to go, but looking at this season, I look at that and I go, that could be a thing. That just could be a thing. Now, would he be forever loved in Boston? Man, I hope so. I hope so. He has had an incredible career in Boston, and not only an incredible career in Boston, an incredible impact on the city. He has been monumental. One of the most impactful athletes that Boston has seen in terms of impacting his community, touching the community in a way that empowers kids, empowers the community, makes a difference. I think he is doing an incredible job at that. So he should forever be remembered, not just as a basketball player, but as a person who has made a massive difference in the city of Boston. I think that is, that should be his lasting legacy. And I think that's the legacy that he wants it to be as well. He has scored 11,436 points, regular season. So he's almost at 12,000. If he sticks around, he could get to 20,000, which is automatic Hall of Fame. I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame, provided that he doesn't get injured or anything like that. But look, 4-time All-Star. He has an All-NBA. He's obviously a champion, a Finals MVP. They have the Conference Finals MVP. He has a resume already that makes him pretty close to Hall of Fame worthy, if not a Hall of Fame worthy career already. So he should be and better be appreciated by the city of Boston and by Celtics fans, because he's been incredible. Has he been perfect? No one's perfect. Has it, have I had criticism of him? Of course, I have criticism of everybody. Partly my job, but it's also, that's how it goes, man. Some of it goes well, some of it doesn't, but he's been incredible for this team. They obviously don't win a championship without him. They don't get to the finals without him. They aren't this good this often without him. And like I said, his impact on the city has been incredible. So yes, Jaylen Brown, no matter what happens, no matter what, should be forever appreciated by Celtics fans in the city of Boston. I don't think that's even a question. When we come back, we'll talk about signing an Antetokounmpo, and we'll come up with a new killer whales or try for this year's team. That's coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Caffeine. Just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B12 vitamins, nutrients, zero sugar, zero crashes. What I love most is they are portable. Big taste, tiny shot. When I travel a lot, just grab a bunch of those, put them in my bag. They get through security nice and fine. And whenever I'm lagging or once I get off the plane, boom, 5-hour energy shot. And that gets me going. Or I'm trying to cover the Celtics on the road. It's always tough. I lose a lot of sleep. So these 5-hour energy shots are great for getting me through, whether it's a post game, a travel day, whatever it is. So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5-Hour Energy. That's the number 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Like I said, the Patriots had an incredible win over the Dolphins. I was watching at the gym, and like me and a few other dudes, we were just laughing at that game. If you want full reaction to that, Locked On Patriots is the place to go. But if you're not a Patriots fan, Locked On, whatever your favorite NFL team, it's there. Go check it out. Check out Locked On NFL. They do an amazing job on the NFL side. So go check it out. Locked On Red Sox, Yankees going on as I record this. So whatever you want, Locked On, just pick your team name. We probably have a podcast and a great one for you there. Let's get back to the mailbag questions at johnkaralis.com/mailbag. Elias says, I've been watching Greece play in the EuroLeague basketball tournament. I have to say that Kostas Antetokounmpo is looking good. What do you think about the Celtics looking to acquire him as a center prospect? He had a big defensive game against Turkey. I don't think that he is going to be an NBA center prospect. Number one reason why, he's about to turn 28. So he's not a prospect. He's fully formed at this point, and he hasn't been in the league since 2021. So he's a fully formed basketball player. There's not a ton of improvement left for him to make, because he's, by the time you get him, develop and all that stuff, he'll be turning 30. It's not the way to go. But he is signed with Olympiacos, pretty high level Greek team. So he's probably going to play out his career in Greece, overseas, and I think that's going to be it. So I know people tend to think that all the Antetokounmpos are pretty young, but the Antetokounmpos are about to age out of basketball, which is crazy to me and makes me feel extraordinarily old. All right, let's get into some more fun questions. That was a fun one. We're going to start with Tim. Last year, Mazzulla went all in with the killer whale approach, and the Celtics put up a record 3-point volume. If his intensity shifts to pace this season, full Tommy Heinsohn fever dream, what would the record pace actually look like in practice? Do they have the personnel? And if last year was the killer whale, what's the nickname for a pace-driven identity this year? Whew. Okay. What is basically the question is, what's the Celtics offense going to look like? They are not going to put up 53s a game. They may put up 53s in some games, but they're not going to do that every night because they lost 2 huge 3-point, three with the Tatum injury. They lost almost 30 3-pointers per game. So they're not going to make that up just on Pritchard's going to take more, White's going to take more, Simons is going to make up for some of that. They're not going to make up for that. This team is not the killer whale team. This is, we'll come up with the new name or try, but this is going to be cutting. It's going to be pace. It's going to be turnovers. They're going to try to force a ton of turnovers. They're going to try to run off of those. They're going to try to rebound a lot. They're going to try to, like I said, cut, move without the ball. It's going to be just 48 minutes of relentless basketball. And so what is that? What is 48 minutes of relentlessness in the animal kingdom? Well, the best thing that I could come up with, and it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but it is the African wild dog. Now, the African wild dog, which is also called the painted dog, the Cape hunting dog, or the painted wolf, we call them the painted wolves. Excuse me. What these dogs do, first of all, hunt in massive packs, right? So there's like 30 or 40 of them in packs. Dogs are pack animals. So this is going to be its depth. There's your depth. So the African wild dog hunts with depth, and they hunt in relays. They will chase something down, and like one dog will take the lead, and then another dog that's been saving its energy will then take the lead when the first dog gets tired, and they'll just run these relays and just run their prey to death, basically. And by that time, the prey is exhausted, and it gives up. They take it down. So you want to call them the painted wolves, you want to call them the whatever iteration, but the African wild dog is the reference. That's the pack. That's the animal that they should be emulating this year. Now, the killer whale, I think that still kind of holds a little bit, but you have to move on. I think if I'm Joe Mazzulla, and I'm channeling Joe Mazzulla, he wouldn't come on the podcast this year, but I'm channeling my telepathic thoughts. You're showing the African wild dog, which is relentless. It chases its prey across plains like miles. And they, as a team. So that's what they're going to look like. They're going to have to run like crazy. They're going to have to wear other teams out. They'll have to outscore some teams for sure, but it's just going to be just one after another, after another, after another, after another. So, like I said, the African wild dog doesn't have the same ring as killer whale. That's why maybe painted wolves kind of works, but there's already a wolves in the NBA. So if somebody in the comment section can come up with something better or another name for it, or look, there is the natural, you got that dog in you type of thing. Well, that type of dog is the African wild dog. So I don't know. Whatever you think, let me know. Let me know. Let's come up. Let's workshop this. Bob, I love this question. Is there any rule that would prevent a fan base crowdfunding payments to players? Let's say a million Celtics fans kick in $25 and promise to give it to a hot free agent. It's $25 million. It doesn't count towards the cap. It's fan-based salary cap circumvention. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It feels like there should be a rule, but I don't think there is a specific rule that says that players can't take money from fans. And if enough fans got together, you just can't do it at the direction of the team. And the team may say, don't do this. And I think it would be a little gauche for a player to take like a GoFundMe check from the fans to get an extra 25 million in here. However, in this era of salary cap circumvention and the Clippers and all of that stuff, wow, what a way to get around it. I think if the fans got together and came up with a product, maybe what we could call it, brainstorm live on the show. Maybe what we do is we get money together for a Locked On Celtics endorsement. Okay? Let's do that. When the next big free agent that comes along, can we get 1 million Celtics fans to just forget the $25, just kick in $5. All right? 1 million Celtics fans to kick in $5, and we'll come up with a $5 million endorsement deal. And that will be a little something extra. That would be enough. Okay, maybe $10 to make it 10 million. We don't have to go full 25, but another $10 million will be a big difference. We crowdfund that, and whoever the free agent is, we got to come up with a reason, a contract for them to sign. So boom, Locked On Celtics endorsement. And the Locked On Celtics endorsement will just be, I don't know, we'll make it a no-show endorsement. We'll just take a picture of that person's face and just put it in the corner somewhere up here. Where? Here? There? Somewhere in the corner? I'm just talking to people on YouTube now. I like it. I like where this is going. As far as a rule, I don't know that the CBA covers crowdfunding salary cap circumvention. It may by the time we're able to do it, because it's honestly not out of the question. I believe in the power of the internet. So who knows? Now let's wrap it up here with Paolo, who asks, John, who are you going to kind of root for this year while waiting for the Celtics to compete again? I love KP, and for me, Atlanta is at the top of the East. I also think they might have found a way, if everything works, to hide Trae Young's defense. Then I guess the Magic, Cavs. In the West, I'll go with Rockets and Nuggets. So I like this. So who out there, if I'm not sitting here saying, hey, the Celtics, I hope the Celtics win, who in the NBA would I be rooting for? Say, okay, if this team wins a championship, I'm okay with it. Look, Denver, certainly a choice because I really love Jokic, and I think getting him a second one just to, I think, hammer everything home would be great. I think it would be amazing just because I think he should have won the MVP the Embiid year, and he should have been a 3-time MVP. And I think that was my fellow media members overthinking it and choosing to give it to Embiid, looking for a reason to give it to somebody else. So they weren't the ones to give a 3-time MVP to Jokic for some reason. But whatever. So that's certainly an option. I love the idea of you give it to somebody that hasn't won before. Cleveland would certainly, Donovan Mitchell, that group, I think they've worked really hard. So, I mean, I can get behind a Cleveland run. I cannot get behind a New York Knicks run, so they are out. A magical Pacers run without Halliburton would be incredible. I can get behind that for sure. So I don't know if I'm rooting for any one team. Okay, how about this? Let's root for the funniest thing that could happen. The funniest team to win an NBA championship this year would be the Clippers. After everything that's happened this summer and what would be probably a season-long investigation, and I'm guessing a significant punishment for the league, for the team, by the league, I think it would be hilarious to see Adam Silver and Steve Ballmer up there being like, here's your championship. And then like a day later, I'll take some draft picks from you. And also you're suspended for a year. Like that would be just incredible drama storytelling and like victimless. So except for like the Clippers and their future draft picks, but at that point they would have won a title. And so what? So I think I'm rooting for chaos and go Clippers. Go Clippers. That's my mantra. Go Clippers. That would be the funniest outcome. Thanks for all the questions. JohnKaralis.com/mailbag. Thanks to everybody. If you're an everyday or if you're with me every Monday through Friday, thank you so much. If you're with me 35 minutes into the podcast, love you for that as well. Really do appreciate that. I would love to have you as a new subscriber. Hopefully you enjoyed this mailbag episode. Again, tomorrow I'm going to get into, unless something breaks, I think I'm going to get into some Anthony Simons stuff tomorrow, just because I think it's time to admit he's not going anywhere, at least not in the short term. So we got to start thinking about him as a part of this team, and how big a part is he going to be. So make sure you're subscribed to get that conversation tomorrow. I would love it if you share your thoughts in the comment section, and then share the podcast. Tell your friends, tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.